Welcome to the Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt online training. Let's take a look at the course outline. The Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt course is comprised of 8 modules. We have Six Sigma Foundation, Lean Principles, Project Management Fundamentals, and then the remaining modules cover the 5-phased Six Sigma DMAIC methodology. We have Define, Measure, Analyze, Improve, and Control. The Analyze and Improve modules are out of scope for what is covered in a Yellow Belt training, but you will learn at a high level what happens in these 2 phases. In the Six Sigma Foundation module, we will cover what is Six Sigma, Six Sigma history, so where did Six Sigma originate and how did it get to where it is today, the Six Sigma approach, or otherwise known as the transfer function y is a function of x, the Six Sigma methodology DMAIC, which stands for Define, Measure, Analyze, Improve, and Control. And then we'll learn about the roles and responsibilities in Six Sigma. So this is the roles and responsibilities of the different team members and players in the organization that are typically involved in Six Sigma projects. In the Lean Principles module, we will cover an overview of Lean. So what is Lean all about and how does it complement our Six Sigma projects? We will cover the 3 types of waste in 7 Deadly Muda. We'll cover the 5S for creating and maintaining an orderly workplace. We'll cover the principles of Kanban, and then one of my favorite terms, poka-yoke, which means to mistake-proof a process or a system. In the Project Management Fundamentals module, we will cover a project management overview, the project charter, principles around project team selection, how we can go about crafting a statement of work, creating a work breakdown structure, drafting a resource estimation plan, performing project scheduling. We'll understand what goes into a communication plan and how we can manage risk. In the Define phase module, we'll cover project selection topics like the cost of poor quality, capturing the voice of the customer, and generating the critical to quality requirements. And we will cover some tools like quality function deployment and Pareto analysis that help us in finding and prioritizing the critical to quality requirements. We will also cover business process mapping topics, like what is business process mapping, the SIPOC diagram, which stands for suppliers, inputs, process, outputs, and customers, which is a great way for us to map out the process. We'll learn about value stream maps to help us identify non-value added activities in our process. We'll learn about the spaghetti diagram, which helps us to identify wasted motion and to simplify the process. And then we'll learn about thought process mapping. In the Measure phase module is where the majority of the work happens. So in this module, we'll cover ways in which we can measure performance. So the common Six Sigma metrics that are used to measure process performance in Six Sigma projects, how we can conduct a cause and effect analysis, and the technique behind failure modes and effects analysis. We will then get into the real fun stuff, the Six Sigma statistics. So the difference between descriptive and inferential statistics, the different characteristics of the data that we'll be analyzing. What is a normal distribution and the importance of having the data in a normal distribution so that we can run several tests and charts on the data to make inferences about the data characteristics. And then graphical analysis. So how can we begin to interpret what we see based on the structure and patterns in the data that's leading us to make statistical conclusions? And then for measurement systems analysis, we're going to learn that the measurement system can also cause noticeable variation. So we need to analyze the measurement system itself. We'll cover the difference between precision and accuracy in our data. We will cover bias, linearity, and stability. And then we'll have the gauge R&R, which stands for gauge repeatability and reproducibility. And this measures the amount of variation in the measurement system. And then we'll cover the concept of process capability. So how to do capability analysis. What is the concept of stability? And what can we do with respect to process capability depending on the type of data we're working with, so whether it's attribute data or discrete data. Again, the analyze phase is really out of scope for Yellow Belt training, but I think it's good to know at a high level what happens in this phase. So we're going to cover an overview of the analyze phase, including the goal of this phase and the expected output. We will learn about inferential statistics, which is the process of making inferences or judgments regarding the characteristics of a population based on the characteristics of an observable sample. We will learn about the central limit theorem, which allows the use of normality-based tests of means when the population data distribution is not normal. And then we'll learn about confidence intervals, and then a tool that we rely on heavily in the analyze phase called hypothesis testing. Same with the improve phase. It's out of scope for yellow belt training, but again, I think it's good to know at a high level what happens in this phase. So we'll cover an overview of the improve phase. We will learn about the goal in the improve phase and the expected output. We'll look at the XY diagram, which is a type of scatter plot chart that visually displays the relationship between a variable X and another variable Y. We will cover the most commonly used techniques for investigating the relationship between two quantitative variables, which are correlation and regression analysis using linear regression. In the control phase module, we want to sustain our gains and provide plans for dealing with situations where our process falls back out of control. We're going to cover the elements of Six Sigma control plans. So we'll cover control plans, standard operating procedures, communications plan, the training plan, how to handle an audit, and the response plan. And so this is our outline for the Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt course. So I hope you're ready to get started.